The worst date that you've ever been on?
I mean, anyone that knows me knows that I've been bachelor most of my life, so I've been on my fair share of first dates.
We're going to humiliate ourselves with 4 embarrassing stories, so make sure you guys check it out. All right, first question. Most embarrassing gym story. Let's hear it.
Oh man, I have a ton from the boot camp days for sure that I'm not going to include. A bunch from the gym. I have two. One's going to be super quick because it was embarrassing to me, but I don't think anyone saw me. I was doing goblet squats. I had shorts on, and this is my first exercise of the day. As soon as I went down for that squat, my shorts ripped wide open, and hopefully no one else saw. But I was super embarrassed, and unfortunately, it was the first exercise. Had to go downstairs, got changed, and left. So I basically skipped my workout. The second one, this one people did see, and it was super embarrassing for sure. It was a chest day. I was feeling lazy. I was feeling tired. Just wasn't in the mood for it. And I went up to bring my weight up, had it all clipped in, went to bring the bench press into my chest, and realized that there was a huge imbalance in weight. And I noticed the entire weight shifting to one side. And then finally I was able to get it back into position, and then I realized I had 2 plates on one side, 1 plate on the other side. A bunch of people were looking at me like I was an idiot, but thankfully I had the clips on, otherwise it would have been an absolute disaster. What about you? What's the most embarrassing story you've had?
Those are good ones. Yours might be better than mine. Hey, relax, everybody. Mine, I think everyone knows mine by now if you've watched my videos. I'm not going to say the exact one. It's the one where my leg was kind of like paralyzed, but the second one that I'm going to go with right now, I've never really told this one. It's my first day at Crunch Fitness 2024. This is after we moved out of Breakthrough Boot Camp. Very first day, so I'm working out. So I go to the cable stack machine, and sometimes in the cable stack machine, you almost gotta hold the top weight down, kind of pin it to make sure it doesn't kind of slam up against you, essentially. So I basically took the pin out of the cable without holding the top part there. I was under the lap pull down machine, and as soon as I did that, the whole thing just came right down on my head in terms of that bar. And everyone was like looking at me like, "Oh man, you okay?" I'm like, "Jesus, this is my first day at the gym," which was not good. So it was pretty embarrassing. Everyone was kind of staring at me. But I learned my lesson. Every single time I pick out a cable pin now, I'm always holding the top part to make sure it doesn't happen. That's pretty rough, eh?
That's pretty rough.
Second question we have, guys, and the second question I'm going to ask Sean right here is, what is your worst gym purchase ever that you've ever made?
Definitely has some cringy ones. Nothing super egregious. Like, I've done the stupid supplements that don't work. I bought some equipment that I've never used before. But I think the cringiest or the worst one that I've had, I bought a stringer. Do you know what a stringer is?
No, what is it?
So a stringer is like a tank top, except the back is like spaghetti thin, so you can see your entire back. And then I tried it on, looked in the mirror, and I realized I look like an absolute idiot. So I figured this was a bad look. Never wore it. Thankfully, never tried it at the gym. Learned my lesson. Realized it's not a good look. So that was my worst. How about you?
So I'm a Dutchman. We're both Dutchmen. Full disclosure. So I don't really spend unnecessary money because I'm cheap, like a Dutchman. So I'm gonna tell you something pretty straightforward, but I'm gonna tell like a funny story with it. So I'm just gonna go with gloves. So weightlifting gloves, right? Maybe did you ever buy a pair before?
Never.
So okay, so I bought a pair before, and I probably used them like twice in my life when I was younger. Never used them again. But funny story. A couple weeks ago, so I'm hanging out with my girlfriend. She has we're watching a movie. She pulls like a kid out when we're just kind of relaxing watching a movie, and she's like, "Give me your hand." I'm like, "What the hell are you talking about? What are you doing?" I guess she noticed my calluses like the first couple days we went on, that they were rough. So she grabs like a scraping tool and starts to scrape my hand, scrape the calluses out. I say that all to say, it was a bad purchase for me because I don't wear the gloves, but I think she thinks it would have been the best purchase ever because she's not a fan of my hands overall. So a bit of a funny story with it, but not too many dumb purchases in my life, luckily. We're going to shift gears a bit from fitness now. We got some funny ones for you guys. So let's talk about, what is your worst date ever? So what's the worst date that you've ever been on?
I mean, anyone that knows me knows that I've been bachelor most of my life, so I've been on my fair share of first dates. Thankfully, most of them have not been horror stories. I have a couple that are super cringe and probably too long for this. But I remember I was on a date a couple years ago with someone who wasn't from here, and the entire time she was just talking about how much hotter she is than everyone else from Ontario, which is where we're from, and basically ripping on the entire province and people and saying how much greater she is than everyone else. So obviously that left a bad taste in my mouth, and at the end of the date she texted me saying, "Had a great time, how was everything for you?" And I was just like, respectfully, like, there's no connection here. And she did not take that well. So I got a nice long, basically novel for a text. Have you ever seen those texts before where like the girlfriend sends a guy a text, and it was one of those basically scolding me, and I didn't answer. couple days later, she sends me a text, apologizes, says that wasn't her behavior, it's not like her, and then asks if I want to hang out again, and I was like, absolutely not. So not a horror story, but it was kind of super cringe and just a difficult one to overcome. How about you?
That's a tough go right there, buddy. Yeah, that sounds rough. This girl went on probably like this date I went on about 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago. So I met this girl on Bumble, and we decided to meet like near Sherwood Gardens, which is kind of near Toronto if you're not familiar with Canada. So it's somewhat close to Toronto-ish, 10-15 minutes maybe a little bit longer. And so I met with this girl, and right away she didn't look anything like her pictures. I was like, oh god, there's strike one. And then strike two was she was pretty loud and obnoxious. So like we're just going through a date, having a drink, and I knew there wasn't a connection right away. She was kind of into me, I wasn't into her. And then she's like, yeah, we should like work out sometime together. And I'm just like, okay, yeah, sounds good. I'm just trying to be polite. But then everything kind of changed. It was pretty funny because then she kind of asked me, she's like, "See, where do you live, by the way?" So I'm like, near like Kitchener, around that area. If you're not familiar with Kitchener, it's about an hour, 10 minutes away from Toronto. A little bit, still a bigger city, but smaller compared to Toronto. And I'm like, yeah, there's not much to do around there, not many bars, nothing like that. And she just did like a complete 180. So like she was being like really into me, like really polite, like talking a lot, even though I really wasn't interested in her. As soon as I said that I was like away from Toronto and there wasn't much to do, she wanted absolutely nothing to do with me. And the rest of the night there was like basically no conversation. And I wanted to text her, like I'm like, hey, just text me when you're home. I'm trying to be a gentleman. She didn't respond, so I'm like, okay, hope you got home okay. And she blocked me. She actually blocked me. So complete horror story there. But I don't know. What do you think was worse, mine or yours?
I think it's pretty close. Here's what I will say. I have a rule, very similar experiences. I will not date anyone from Toronto. No disrespect from anyone from Toronto, but just totally different vibe. I know they have their own dating culture there. We're relatively simple guys, so it doesn't suit our personalities. So I'm sure there are a few good ones, just not for us.
Oh, you did have a long-term girlfriend from Toronto.
Yes and no. She moved into Milton with me, so.
Fair enough. Last question. What is your most embarrassing gym moment?
Sports story.
Sorry.
Sports story.
What's your most embarrassing sports story? Excuse me.
Rich knows this one. It's more funny than embarrassing. It has to do with our dad. Do you know what I'm going to tell you about?
No.
All right. So back when I was in maybe 15, 16 years old, I was in high school playing hockey. We went to a tournament in Windsor. And when we played hockey, it was all non-contact, so no body checking.
Oh, yeah.
But this tournament was body checking. So we're all fired up. We get to hit some boys, throw our body around a little bit. First game we get there, and we're playing against all these country boys. So these guys are big, like twice our size. And I'm talking first shift, 3 of our guys went down, injured right away. So we realized like this is going to be a long game. In the first period, I made a pass, kind of pimping my pass a little bit, watching it, and some guy just dumps me into the boards. And I'm like, oh man, my shoulder kind of feels weird, like it hurts. I went to the bench, I told my buddies, I was like, I don't know if I can play, like my shoulder's really messed up. And then one of my buddies, shout out to Ashish, basically called me a pussy and says, like, you have to play the rest of the game. All of our guys are down. So I was like, all right, you know what? So next shift, he sets me up. I have a great chance. I go to shoot, and I can't even raise the puck, and my shoulder's hurting so bad. So for the rest of the game, I was just playing super passive, trying to avoid contact, trying to get through the game. Game's done. Barely could take off my jersey and my shoulder pads. And then I go back and see my parents, and I could tell my dad was pissed, basically calling me soft, saying I played scared, and I was like, no, Dad, like my shoulder really hurts. And he gives me this ultimatum. He's like, either you play or we go home, because he knew how much I wanted to be there in that tournament. It's a great time for kids if you played hockey before and have a tournament at a hotel. And I was like, no, Dad, like I actually can't play. So eventually he caved. We went to the hospital, got an x-ray, and my collarbone was snapped in half. So he was super quiet, didn't say anything after that. So unfortunately my hockey year that year was done. I was gone for 2 months, but thankfully I wasn't faking it. I was being soft, but I wasn't being faking it. It was a pretty funny story.
Yeah, I'll never forget that one. He actually, I can confirm that he was actually really pissed, to say the least. So if he's watching this right now, yeah, you can still apologize.
He felt bad after, to be fair.
Fair. Mine's very straightforward. It's baseball. So my very first year playing rep ball, I joined a team that was really good. Like they went to the Ontario's the year before, which is like the provincials, and like they were a really good team. And one of my first games, I think it was maybe the 3rd or 4th game in the year. It's a pretty straightforward story, but I went 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts. So in baseball, it's called the golden sombrero. And I remember I was so embarrassed. Like, I was the first person in the team who did that, like 0 for 4 strikeouts that year. Oh, I remember. I think I even cried that night. I was like 11 years old at the time, maybe 12. And it was just so embarrassing. Like, I didn't want to face anyone. I didn't want to talk to anyone. Anyone knows if you played baseball before or golf, if you have a bad game or bad round, it's the worst feeling ever. And that was just a miserable experience to say the least. So I would say that's my most embarrassing sports moment ever, as I just wanted to cry, basically. Anyone add to that? Any comments?
No, I don't think that one's that bad. I think we've all been there before. But yeah, I agree. So hopefully you guys can relate to some of these things because obviously we all go through our own embarrassment stories and situations. But it is what it is.
Yeah. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to like, subscribe. We usually post fitness. We're throwing a bit of a curveball today to change it up. So hope you guys enjoyed it and hope you guys saw another side of Sean and myself. So thanks for watching, guys. Bubbles, anything to say? Bub says bye. Thanks, guys. Take care.